Okay, so I'm going to try and do a 12 marker for socially sensitive research. Um, I've got no idea what it would ask you. Um, this question would be really hard to answer. I'm hoping they don't ask you this. So let's have a go. So it might be something like discuss the impact of socially sensitive research, or it might be discuss strengths and weaknesses of socially sensitive research. I'm using what's that? Oh, support. Right. So, what social sensitive research is? So socially sensitive research refers to any psychological research which may have which the results refers to any psychological which the results of may have ethical implications beyond the research for people in wider society. So you might say then, let's think of a plan. So socially sensitive research is going to be good because it'll have practical applications. Um, but it'll be bad because you might cause ethical problems like protection from harm. Um, but then it's going to be more valid, so we can actually truly explain behaviour. So that's probably going to be a better one before you talk about practical applications. Maybe do the ethical one there, and then what else could it be? Maybe ethical problems, protection from harm, things like labelling. We could actually contrast that, and you could bring in determinism, and that goes with practical applications, free use, practical applications. What else could be? Social sensitive research. Maybe ethnocentrism. It's gonna be we could probably do ethnocentrism. So, maybe put that there. Then put that there. Right, so that's the plan. Let's see how this works out. So, we could put sometimes it is necessary. I'm thinking that this essay is going to be a little bit more wishy-washy than the other ones because this is more of like a, like you would do in kind of philosophy or sociology where you generally talk about things and you don't really have much like scientific kind of explanations for it. So you just chat about it. So let's see, sometimes it is necessary to conduct socially sensitive research. Actually, I might need to just plan which studies are socially sensitive. So we could say Casey because you've been labelled as a low delayer, high delayer, and then that suggests like self-fulfilling prophecy. Because you are supposed to be more successful if you are a high delayer. What else is there? Baron Cohen. So like no clear lack of theory of mind, which means that you might be just because you have autism. It's suggesting that you can't communicate socially when actual fact might just be the people in that study. It's test everybody with autism. Maybe Freud is socially sensitive because little hands was not protected. You know, everyone knew who he was. And to get photographs and stuff. Melbourne. That's that one. Crunch. John. Lotus. Palmer. Sorry. I think we'll look at this. Social. Cognitive. Biological. Not mental control. So that's them all there. So are any of these socially sensitive? So we've got the first three that they're quite socially sensitive. In terms of it's going to be socially sensitive to be valid for behaviour. See, generally in terms of socially sensitive, you could talk about things like, you know, being labelled as a criminal because of your biology and stuff like that. But Casey's very going to look at that. So then that's going to be a really good point if you do the other studies next year, because we'll look at like I think we have a look at RAIN, which is like PET scans of murderers' brains, and suggest that they're more predisposed to activation in particular areas like the limbic system and prefrontal cortex callosum, which makes them more aggressive. So they're more likely to commit crime, like aggressive crime. But we can't do that one because we haven't done that study yet. Banjora, I guess we could say, because we're saying that boys are more aggressive, which is not good for boys because then they're being labelled again. But you could say that's got treatment programs because, you know, focused on aggression and boys, so maybe that's good. Lots of Palmer, there could be issues because, you know, not believing in court someone's memory. You know, that's socially sensitive because you're stressing that, you know, you ain't got a good memory, so we're not going to believe you in court. Is Cheney socially sensitive in terms of adherence to medical regimes? Because it's not really, oh, actually, you know, like bad parenting because of the study. You know, they might feel like, you know, that's the reason, you know, because asking them about their adherence. Sperry study, is that really socially sensitive? We know that study just showed that you had hemisphere connection. It didn't really, no, we're not getting labels about the participants afterwards, so that's probably not socially sensitive. Bocciaro, is that socially sensitive? You know, maybe they feel guilty because they didn't whistleblow, and they, you know, they thought they would. You know, Milgram, they probably felt guilty. Had seizures and things like that. But then, is Grant socially sensitive? Memory, same context, different context. Does that impact people? Oh, maybe things like exams that take place in a different environment to learning. Environment. Again, you're going to have things like self-fulfilling prophecy, like, oh, you're all probably thinking that, you know, you're not going to do as well because you get examined in a different place, which is not always true. So then that's so sensitive. So we've got quite a lot of like different things. I mean, these studies are generally quite like all round in terms of social sensitiveness. That's not really a word, is it? Let's see. To explain behaviour. you have to be careful which study we use. It's got to be a valid study. Maybe. Okay, let's use Melbourne. So, for example, Melbourne found that 65% of participants obeyed an unethical command from an authority figure to continue shocking participants up to 450 points. This caused a lot of ethical issues for participants. This was very unethical. It was very unethical. As participants suffered extreme distress due to its day. It also had about, for example, one of the benefits of 5% unethical offence of stress due to the study. It also was socially sensitive as it was attempting to explain the behaviour in Nazi Germany. Ethical process of its interested study. It's also socially sensitive as it's had to explain behaviour in Nazi Germany. Is this really like socially sensitive is about being stigmatised for people after the study? Is it really necessary to talk about the ethics? Probably not. Get rid of that. But this is socially sensitive and attempting to explain behaviour in Nazi Germany. However, from it, we now know that the situation can have a detrimental effect on a person's behaviour. As his behaviour. A lot of research focuses. A lot of research due to it being conducted in Western culture, Western cultured societies, often samples participants of a similar ethnicity, and therefore is ethnocentric in its conclusions, making it socially sensitive. For example, maybe I've got treatment. That's quite good for labelling, but then so's that. Although that could be good for practical applications. Slide's not really very good. Jeez, it's not a very good study anyway. That's not as socially sensitive as it could be. Dan Collins good. What talk about Banjora is good. Right. So, ethnocentrism might be better for maybe this one, and that's that treatment, only this one. But then some of them have it's bad for them. No, let's go with this one. Then practical ethical problems could be this one, and this can be practical conditions. And I'll get these. Right, so for example, Casey found that people who were older than 4 years old were people who were older than 4 years old were less successful at inhibiting the response to alluring social cues when older during a cognitive neurological task, suggesting that it is a consistent characteristic. This can be socially sensitive, as it is suggested that people who are handlers are more successful in life, and if this is suggested to be a predetermined characteristic that people have enough will to improve it. This is ethical. It's more degrees. You may actually end up fulfilling a self-prophecy. Oh wait, I've been back for that long. I'm going back to ethnocentrism, aren't I? So it's just that people who are highly not successful, it's just that freedom fits from your upload. It is also ethnocentric. It's also ethnocentric. I've kind of talked about the ethical problems in there. Is that nice? So I don't remember. But well, it's ethnocentric in its conclusions because it's socially sensitive. It's a consistent characteristic. It's just that people have lots of enough words to improve ethical. Is all as only participants from a Western culture were sampled. It means that these findings are ethnocentric and actually people in other cultures may not be affected in the same way. And so, and more socially sensitive. That said, socially sensitive research offers the best practical applications as, for example, although Bandura found that boys were more aggressive to girls than girls when observing after observing an aggressive role model. For example, although he is socially sensitive, as it may lead to labelling of boys and affect how people in wider society treat boys, such as different court trials, so such as extreme things, such as court trials, such as if a male is a defendant compared to a female, maybe different verdicts due to this assumption about males. For example, Banjura found that boys were more aggressive than girls after observing an aggressive role model, which is socially sensitive as it can lead to labelling boys and affect how people in one society treat boys, such as extreme things like court trials. Such as, don't know. If a male is different compared to a female, there may be different verdicts due to these assumptions about males. This is still useful for practical applications, as if it is true, then treatments such as anger management can be tailored to reduce this problem for males. And things like education can be put in place so that it doesn't have negative effects for the individual just because they're being male. This sounds really sexist. It's not. I'm not intending to be sexist. It's still useful practical applications if it is true and treatment such as anger management. We try to reduce this problem for males and things that education can put in place so it doesn't have negative effects for the individual by being male. I'm waffling on totally, aren't I? But it'll do. And I already kind of said about that. However, socially sensitive research is still a problem because if someone is labelled due to it, it suggests it is a predetermined characteristic that cannot be changed. Did I put that up there? I've already kind of said that on that. Maybe it would be alright just to put two in. So sometimes it's necessary to conduct social research and explain behaviour validly. For example, Melbourne found that 65% of participants obeyed non-ethical command from authority figure to continue shocking participants up to 450 volts. This was social sensitive as it was attempted to explain the behaviour of Nazi Germany. However, that makes me now know that the situation can have a detrimental effect on a person's behaviour. However, a lot of research due to it being conducted in Western culture societies often samples participants of a similar ethnicity and therefore definitely essentially conclusions making it socially sensitive. For example, a case found that people who were allowed delay at 4 years old are less successful at inhibiting the response to learning social cues when older during a cognitive task, suggesting that it is a consistent characteristic. This can be social sensitive as it is suggested that people who are high are more successful in life, and this is suggested to be a proven characteristic that people have no free will to improve. Then it's unethical for a lot of ways who may actually end up fulfilling a self-prophecy. Also, as only participants from a Western culture assembled, it immediately inspires retrocentric and actually people in other cultures may be affected in the same way. So may not be affected in the same way, and so becomes more socially sensitive if wider society apply these findings to everyone. That one there is kind of like two in the same one. That said, social sensory research offers the best practical applications. For example, Bandura found that boys are more aggressive than girls if observe an aggressive role model, which is social sensitive because it can lead to labelling of boys and affect how people in wider society treat boys, such as extreme things like court trials. If a male is a defendant compared to a female, there may be different verdicts due to this assumption about males. This is still useful practical applications, as if it is true, then treatments such as anger management can be tailored to reduce this problem for males, and things like education can be put in place so that it doesn't have negative effects for the individual by being male. Is there anything else that I could possibly say? Oh, so you don't have to have 4 points, do you? Let's see. Yes, that might be enough. So then, go on. So, in conclusion, socially sensitive research can have positive impact on society, on wider society, on society. In terms of understanding behaviour and offering treatments, but does need to be treated with caution, as people can be unfairly labelled. And so to have no free will to be unfairly labelled by society, who may assume that people cannot have free will to override predetermined characteristics. Well, that was an effort, wasn't it? Hopefully they won't ask you that, but if they do, there is some stuff that you can talk about, and that's assuming that I have done it right, which I think I have.